Good morning. Welcome to the Farzy Show, presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. My name is Mark Farzetta. Yes, I'm happy. I'm somewhat excited. Not necessarily for preseason football, but I'm excited to see Jordan Davis in an NFL setting, in a game where he'll go up with somebody that he just wants to take the head off when he's playing defensive line today. That's what I'm excited for. I'm not excited for the Philadelphia Phillies today. They hurt me. We were all riding a nice high when it came to the Phillies and hopefully sweeping the Marlins. And I told you after that series against the Nationals, keep the brooms out because the Phillies are coming for the fish. And it just didn't happen. Some questionable managing by Rob Thompson. But what trumps a 3-0 loss to the Marlins and not able to sweep the series, what trumps all of that, what is the big story, is the fact that Kyle Schwarber has a mild strain in his calf and will likely not be playing, at least today, when they begin their 3-game series with the New York Mets at 7:10 tonight. That's where we're at right now with the Phillies. That's a disappointing loss, but now it's a matter of how long this loss will linger, being that this will be the game that knocked out Kyle Schwarber for however long. We'll let you hear from Rob Thompson. We'll let you hear from Kyle Schwarber himself about Kyle Schwarber's injury. I don't think this looks good. They're saying day to day, but when you hear from Kyle Schwarber and you see the look on his face, if you caught post-game last night, or yesterday afternoon, this is going to be a minute. I don't think this is going to be, give him a day or two off and he'll be back and he'll be belting home runs again in this lineup. I don't think that's going to be the case. This could drag on. This might be a week. This might be 2 weeks. But Kyle Schwarber's reaction when they asked him about even DHing, Rob Thompson's reaction when Jim Salisbury asked him in the press conference if Rob Thompson would be available to even if Kyle Schwarber would be available to even DH. Rob Thompson's reaction wasn't anything positive. So it's not just the loss. Hey, they still won another series. You can't win them all, as they say. Yes, their 7-game win streak was snapped, but it's a matter of how long the fallout from a loss like this will last. And the fallout is Kyle Schwarber. He says he's been dealing with it for a while, but as of right now, we got to determine whether or not this is going to be something that's going to drag on, or this is going to be something that, just give me a day or two and I'll be back. At least the DH of this lineup will be good. And Matt Vierling in left field, and everything will be fine. That's going to take a minute, I think, to really try to solve. Here's Rob Thompson yesterday was asked about Kyle Schwarber.
A mild strain right calf. Yep. Yeah, it's like second or third inning. Yeah.
What's the prognosis?
Just day to day. Treat it out. Check him out tomorrow. See how he's doing.
Would you say doubtful for tomorrow in that series?
Well, we'll check him out tomorrow, but it is a mild strain, so.
Maybe not play the field and still get his bat in there?
Could. I mean, we'll just have to, get the trainers on him tomorrow and see if we can treat it out.
Did he tell you about it later in the game?
Yeah, right before he went up for his last at bat. So, he wanted to hit. I said, all right, don't run. So he walked, which was good. And then we pinch ran Marsh for him. So,
and obviously they got him out of there. Just the reaction there, like it's more than just it's more than just the words. It's the reaction. The reaction of kind of like, yeah, it's up in the air kind of deal. Doesn't exactly give me warm and fuzzies. Kyle Schwarber in his own injury in the locker room, in the clubhouse after yesterday's game.
Yeah, just been managing through the last couple of weeks. It wasn't anything serious, and today it just got a little bit tighter, and I just felt if there was a ball hit out in the outfield that I wouldn't have been really serviceable. So just wanted to go up there, take that bat, and see what happens, and get taken out of the game and get it checked out. But
It did not happen on one play, like a pop or something?
No, it didn't pop, nothing like that.
And you've had it, so it's kind of chronic, I guess you'd say.
I wouldn't say it's chronic. I haven't dealt with anything kind of like this throughout my whole career. You know what I mean?
That bugging you for a couple of weeks?
This. I would just say, the good old grind of baseball, right, is coming out, and they took a look at it. Sounds like it could be a day-to-day thing, and I'm going to treat it as that. I'm going to try to get back as soon as I can, and probably won't play tomorrow, but just keep getting as much work on it as I can, and try to be back as quick as possible.
So that's where we're at right now with Kyle Schwarber. But when he starts talking about how this has been the grind of baseball, and this has been something that has been bothering him for a while, that kind of raises your eyebrows a little bit. Okay, bothered you a while, and this was the breaking point? No, I don't want to say break, but this was this is the point of no return, I guess. Well, hopefully there's a return real quick. God, I can't find the right analogy to use, the right cliche to say. But when it comes to this type of injury, you're just worried about how long it's going to last. And when they asked him there about being a designated hitter, the expression, if you see it, the expression on his face is like, yeah, that's not really possible. Like, what am I going to do if I hit the ball? It's home run or strikeout, which is for the most part been his season. But if he does put one in the gap, if he does run, he'll aggravate it. He'll make it worse possibly, and he'll miss more time. So it doesn't even – I would assume you're not going to see Kyle Schwarber in this series. Maybe game on the line, ninth inning pinch hit, then you'll see Kyle Schwarber. But this injury has me concerned. They got 3 in New York against the Mets. Obviously a huge series, a great measuring stick series for the Phillies. I don't think we're going to see Kyle Schwarber in this series. I think in the best case scenario, maybe if the third game of this series is close, late, and need a pinch hitter off the bench, Kyle Schwarber might be the guy to get that call. Speaking of pinch hitters, let's talk a little bit about this actual baseball game yesterday about against the Miami Marlins. I am shocked that Rob Thompson took Garrett Stubbs out of the game, and I'm shocked. And he put in good old Ed Sosa, as I see he's being referred to now. I couldn't believe my eyes. How much more? Like, I understand, and his reasoning for this after the game was that Sosa had been hitting left-handers pretty damn well. And I'm looking at this game, and I'm going, well, hold on a second. Isn't Scott the guy that Stubbs hit the home run off of when the Phillies officially got the fish off their back? When they officially broke that curse from the Marlins and said, all right, you know what? We're not going to play down to this team anymore. We're going to win this series. And I was like, it was Scott, right? And I went back in my phone. And I was like, yeah, Tanner Scott. That's the guy that Garrett Stubbs hit the game-winning walk-off home run against. And bat spiked. And I said, okay, well, Stubbs is coming up next. Here we go. Let's go. Let's party. Let's do this. And Rob Thompson takes Stubbs out of the game. Why you take Stubbs out of the game? Please don't take Stubbs out of the game. He took Stubbs out of the game. Sosa goes up, ends up striking out. Phillies had the bases loaded with nobody out in the ninth inning. And they couldn't get a run across the plate. I don't want to hear any. Look, the strike zone was garbage. If you've been watching me, if you're listening to this show, you know I am all for the robo umpires. I am all for the robotic strike zone. I'm done with I'm done with this in baseball. Here's a pitch that looks like it was a ball. Here's an umpire calling it a strike, or vice versa. And then here's the technology showing you immediately that the umpire's wrong, but it stays as the umpire's call. Like, I'm just like, what are we doing when we have this technology available just literally to piss me off? That's the only reason this technology exists now, is to piss you off as a fan. It's not there to make the game better yet. Not yet. Not until they actually use it. And in case you didn't see it a couple weeks back, Rob Manfred, that guy, he was talking about how they're a couple years away from using robot umpires, like for balls and strikes. This is where we're at in baseball. This technology, well, let's check the umpire's homework immediately and fail. But he remains right. Why? Why are we doing this? I know why. Just to piss you off. We're having fun. Isn't this fun? Baseball's fun. Sports are fun. So I don't want to hear anything about the strike zone. I'm done with it. It's stupid. Yes, he missed calls. Yes, the strike zone changed throughout the game. That was acknowledged throughout the game, really, by the broadcast, of course. And you're watching it as a fan going, what the hell? So I don't want to hear about the umpire. It stinks. That's just the way the game is. It's the way the game's been for 100 million years, and that's just the way it's going to be until they actually correct it. So I don't want to hear about it. did Alec Boehm get a couple of bad pitches called on him? He absolutely did, including a strikeout one that was just below the knees, I thought. But then you had other situations with Sosa swinging over the top of sliders in the dirt. Same thing with Gene Segura in this game. Like, guys made their mistakes. And one thing I did like what Rob Thompson had to say after the game was that you still have to play above the way a game is called. Whatever sport, I think, any sport, I think this applies. And I think I highlighted it some weeks back about Rob Thompson's demeanor. If the officiating in the game, if the umpiring in a game is one way, you have to be good enough to overcome it. A way they could have overcome it is maybe not leaving 10 guys left on base. A way to overcome it is maybe not going 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Another way to do that is maybe not scoring 0 runs in a ball game. So my problem more so is with the Phillies bats than it is the umpiring. I know one affects the other. I know the umpiring affects the bats. So I called third strikes and stuff that are balls. That is obviously affecting the way the game's being played. But when you have your opportunities, you got to be able to take advantage. And the Phillies did not take advantage of their opportunities in this ball game, especially in that 9th inning when they had the bases loaded with nobody out. Let me just play this for you. Rob Thompson on why he put Sosa in for Stubbs. This was his reasoning behind that decision.
And I know Stubby hit the home run off of Scott last time, but just the right-left matchup. And so has been swinging the bat pretty good against left-handers. So.
What about the Stubbs-Scott matchup? Because I'm no analytics expert or anything, but something tells me that goes better than any lefty-right. Like anything is. I don't understand when you have an exact example of success, you then decide to go away from that. I don't care about how a guy's hitting lefties at that particular time. You keep a guy in there that already hit a home run off him in a very similar situation. And you mean to tell me Scott, like, if you're Tanner Scott, and you're on that mound, and you know Garrett Stubbs is in that on-deck circle, and you know the last time you were here, and you faced that guy in a similar situation with the game on the line, and you pooped your pants, you probably pooped your pants again. I think that was an example of the manager having to get out of his own way. And that's nothing against Sosa. That's just, wait, I have this perfect example of this happening before, and I have the same guy on deck. Hooray! Lucky me. That's what I'm thinking if I'm Rob Thompson in yesterday's ball game. I'm not thinking, all right, how can I meddle with this? How can I get involved? No, it's literally playing out the best possible way it could play out. It didn't make any sense. It made a 0 sense. All right, big series against the Mets coming up. In case you haven't seen the pitching matchups, Saturday tomorrow is going to be one hell of a day. Now, tonight's game is on Apple TV, 7:10 start time on Apple TV. So download it and have your fun with Apple TV Plus. Excuse me. Ranger Suarez gets started against Scherzer. Aaron Nola goes up against Jacob deGrom tomorrow, 7:10. And then Sunday, 1:40, Zach Wheeler gets to start against Chris Bassett. Bassett, 3.39 ERA, is 9.7 on the season. It'll be 1:40 start time on Sunday. It's going to be a hell of a weekend. It would bring me so much joy in my heart if the Phillies were to win this series against the Mets. And I know it would for all of you. I'm not expecting them to win this series, but all I want to know in this series is whether or not I'm going to see Kyle Schwarber. That's all I want to know. I just want to know he'll be back before we know it. It won't be a long layoff. They're saying day to day, but like I said, I'm expecting him to miss some time. The way their reactions were to questions last night, as I played for you, doesn't give me a lot of confidence that he's going to be back in the lineup anytime soon. That's Phillies last night after they lost 3-0 to the Marlins. Just when we were riding a high and shoving it in Keith Hernandez's mustache, they lose 3-0. Eagles kick off their preseason tonight, 7:30 against the New York Jets. Their only home preseason game. Starters expected to play a little bit, a few series. I think that means one series, and that's it. And you know what? A lot of times we go into the preseason, and it's still in my head. Like, people talk about the first play to TO all the time, which might be the greatest preseason play ever, right? the bomb to Terrell Owens from Donovan McNabb, and I was like, that set the tone. I have wanted to see that time and time again from the Eagles in the preseason. Just give us warm and fuzzies, one play done, starters are out. Nice job. I remember Michael Vick in the early days of Chip Kelly. Well, early days, of course, it was preseason. Michael Vick had a couple of great plays, big plays in the preseason that made you feel good about how this offense was going to be run during the regular season. And that was before Vick got hurt and Nick Foles came in, and then it was the Nick Foles show, 27-2. Like, there was just great, like, there's great fun. I shouldn't say great. There's fun preseason moments. I have never wanted to watch a preseason game and watch short passes more than I want to see tonight. Because if you're going to put your starters out there for a series, I want to see, like, give me 3. Like, I feel like the line is 2. I feel like the expectation is like I even feel like 3 is way over. So maybe 1. But I want to see at least a series of sharp, crisp, accurate passes from Jalen Hurts. That's all I want to see. I don't need to see the bomb downfield. I don't need to see the McNabb to T.O. type play. Like, I don't need to see the Hurts to A.J. Brown or to Quez Watkins bomb down the field. Like, I don't need to see that. All I need to see, I want to see a little 5 and out by Dallas Goedert and Dallas Goedert and Jalen Hurts, just boom, right on the numbers. Or not even on the numbers. Out in front a little bit. Lead them. Little 5 and out. Boom, get out of bounds. Then I want to see a little slant route, A.J. Brown. Get right down. Perfect. On the numbers. I want to see drop back, 3-step drop, ball out. I want to see everybody on the same page. I want to see all the organization that you can have. And I want to see Jalen Hurts be accurate. And I want to see him make quick decisions. The preseason, vanilla defense, vanilla offense, everybody's vanilla. Just go out there and execute. That's all I want to see. Only thing I'm going to be looking, like, the practice numbers I get, and we've talked about whether or not they're important or not and whatever, and I don't really feel like they're important at all. But when you watch games, whether they be preseason or not, I just want to see an accurate quarterback. The whole thing we've talked about in the offseason is Jalen Hurts' accuracy and Jalen Hurts' ability to diagnose what's in front of him. Just show me you got that rhythm. Just show me a rhythm. Let's show me a little rhythm. That's if I could ask for one thing tonight, that's what I would ask for. The early goings of this. In this game, to see these guys, to see Jalen Hurts be accurate. Now, other than that, the obvious stuff might be Jordan Davis dominating on the field. I want to see guys on and off the field. Like, one of the things that I liked about Nick Sirianni's first game as an NFL head coach, which obviously came in the preseason last year, was that it looked well organized. Like, there wasn't any, like, I don't remember any false starts. I don't remember any timeouts because you couldn't get things organized. It was a pretty crisp, clean game. Penalties didn't happen really for the Eagles in that game, especially in the first half. Like, it was a well-coached game. He looked like he had his team very well organized. That's really all we can look at here. And I always tell you this, whenever it comes to preseason play, I'm always looking at to see, especially guys like that are rookies. I want to see them go out there and just not make mistakes, look like they belong there, look like the moment's not too big for them, and look like from going from playing with boys in college to playing with men, there's no huge learning curve there. That's what I want to see. Those are the two things I'm really looking forward to seeing the most when it comes to Jordan Davis playing tonight, comes to Jalen Hurts being accurate, and then just everything being organized. 3 things. That's the thing I'm looking at right now. So that's what I want to see tonight in tonight's preseason opener. Philly Mike, his own YouTube channel and everything. Philly Mike will be joining us in just a second to break down all things Eagles, what he's looking forward to seeing from the Eagles tonight. He'll also give us his take. Philly Mike's got a great YouTube channel, great podcast, Philly Talk podcast, and he also covers the Sixers as well. So we'll talk about that with him, and I'll ask him about Kevin Durant and what could possibly happen there with the Sixers. But right now, let me tell you about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row. When it comes to your jewelry purchases, do what I do. Trust the man Philadelphia's trusted for over 40 years. Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Steven likes to give the perfect price guarantee to all his customers. Some other people that might get preferential treatment elsewhere, but everyone at Steven Singer, you know what they get? They get treated well by Steven and his staff. That'll make you feel like family with the perfect price. So there's no like, oh, I'm friends with Mark Farzetta and the Farzy show, I get a discount. No, everybody gets the perfect price. No haggling, no hassle. You don't have to worry about negotiating when you go in there. You can just sit back, relax, and enjoy all the beautiful, dazzling diamond jewelry you have to choose from. As a real jewelry expert, walks you through the entire process. So go online to IHateStevenSinger.com right now. That's IHateStevenSinger.com right now. Check out all the amazing inventory. Go into Steven Singer and buy yourself a perfect diamond at the perfect price every day at Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price online at IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, let's jump a little bit further into this Eagles game tonight as they kick off their preseason 7:30 kickoff against the Jets. Philly Mike joins us right now. I was fortunate enough to go on this gentleman's show, his podcast, his YouTube channel some months ago, and I thought, what better time to speak to this gentleman than right before the Eagles kick off their preseason against the New York Jets. We got Philly Mike joining us from of course, Philly Talk podcast. Philly Mike, what's going on, brother?
Hanging in there, ready for some football, man. Tomorrow can't come fast enough.
I know you also talk a lot of Sixers on your show, so I'm going to ask you a Sixers question at the end. But right now, make sure you guys are subscribing, of course, to Philly Talk Podcast, and then also follow Mike on his Twitter account as well, at Philly_Mike25. Mike, what's the 25 for?
It's just stuck with me. I was a big Shady fan, and I just like the number 25. I play a lot of like careers on like 2K since 2K's been out, and 25 has always been my number, so I just been rocking with it for a while.
Good for you, brother. All right. The word is out from Nick Sirianni 2 days ago that he is going to play his starters for a couple of snaps. What do you make of just giving the starters at least a couple of snaps, a series or two in the first preseason game?
It makes sense. Nick Sirianni has been cautious since he's been the coach. I will say his rookie season, I criticized the bubble wrap per se strategy, but coming out of the 2021 season pretty healthy, lips are sealed this time. You know what I mean? So last year, I believe Jalen Hurts played a little bit in game 1, 2. Then he got sick, and then they just kind of scrapped it the rest of the way. I'm interested to see how this team goes tomorrow against the Jets. I am excited to see football, but I understand that it is the preseason. And although you want to get all these puzzle pieces together to see how they work, mainly on the defensive side, I think it's smart way. I think that's the way the whole NFL is trending. Just protect your players, make sure they're good, because the best availability is to be there on Sundays, not for preseason games, but the real Sundays. So I understand it.
Yeah, you can't make the club in the tub, as my old friend Hollis Thomas like to say. What about this? So when you look at the preseason, a lot of people say you can't look at the stats in practice, can't look at the stats in the preseason, can't really tell a lot. When you do watch preseason, though, one thing I look for is just, hey, look like you belong. If you're a rookie, look like you belong with the professionals now. Also, from a head coaching standpoint, just look like the team's well organized. Those are the only real two things that I could take away from any preseason matchup. What do you look for in preseason games?
Well, I look exactly for what you said, just to act like you belong there, know what you're doing, penalties, the stupid mistakes that you're like, if you saw it in practice, you should have got rid of it, at least for the public eyes, because it goes to show how much you've been doing in your training camp. You chose to have 55-minute practices, hour practices for the majority. If you thought you needed to get stuff fixed, you could have still been cautious, but you could have kept them guys out there more. So just a preparation standpoint. Other than that, it's just to see all the bubble players like the Britton Coveys, right? The Jason Huntleys, the guys we heard step up in camp via the beat reporters, because we really can't see nothing. You want to see how they do against other people trying to stay on their roster as well, right? You got a guy for the Jets playing defense who's been touted like Britton Covey has. Is their bubble guy better than our bubble guy? And so I look at that stuff. I am always so excited for the first preseason game. And then after the first preseason game, I'm like, do we really got to do two more of these? Because now it's just the first one because it's been so long. But after that, I'm with you. It's like organized, good. Does it really matter? Let's get to the season. So that's how my take is on preseason. First one excited. The other one just like, yeah.
I consider it like the nice antipasto. It's a nice appetizer. The main course is on the way. That's what it lets me know. You know what it is? It's not even that. It's the bread on the table. They put the bread on the table, you got a little bit of olive oil, and we're all about to jump in. Is there one guy in particular, a non-bubble guy, a guy that's going to get regular reps, already this season that you're really looking forward to seeing, getting his first, or his first live game action of the season?
Rookie-wise you're talking about?
Rookie-wise, or just a guy that you're curious about?
Well, I still want to go to the rookie in Nakobe Dean. I believe that he is going to be a future linebacker. He's going to be an Eagle for a long time. We heard that, he's played a lot of second team, try to do first team. He still plays fast. He's cerebral, but it looks like the beginning predictions were by week 1, he might be a starter. It looks like he's going to be a role player, at least early on in the season. I'm looking to see how he attacks this preseason game, playing against guys who are bigger than him, because one of his knocks was his size. You can't judge a man's heart and being as quick as and smart as he is, but the size was a concern for some people. That could be why he fell to the third. Also, the injury report. So I'm curious to see how Nakobe Dean does on NFL speed with that size.
Mm-hmm. How about Jordan Davis, another rookie that apparently has been dominating people so far in training camp?
That's why I'm not as curious to see, because I feel like Jordan Davis belongs. Like, I feel like I don't need to watch. Now, again, I can't take anything for granted, right? But Jordan Davis is not a concern, as I wonder how he's going to do. My thing is, when is he going to start taking one of Hargrave or Fletch, not total snaps, but kind of pushing them to keep everybody evenly? It might not happen week 1, but I am a big believer in Jordan Davis, not just stopping the run. I think he will creep into open eyes like, dang, he can rush the passer a little bit. Just because he didn't do it at Georgia, I think it was more they didn't need him to than that he couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm. Is there a guy on offense that you're looking at right now that you just want to see either the chemistry between him and Jalen Hurts, whether that's A.J. Brown, whether that's Quez Watkins, and maybe a more important role this time around? Is there somebody that you're looking at offensively that you want to see how they handle things in the first preseason game?
Yeah, I'm still curious about the whole Miles Sanders dynamic, because of, early in camp, we saw that Kenny G got some first team reps, and, us YouTubers, beat writers all ran with it. Oh my goodness, look at this, because we saw the tea leaves fall from last year, right? Miles Sanders made some bonehead plays going out of bounds, a little bit of fumbles, couldn't stay healthy, and Kenny G got opportunities. And I say this stat all the time. Last year, Kenny G had 107 touches, and 40 of them went for a first down or a touchdown. That's 37.5%. He's a playmaker. And so early in camp, seeing that, I said, dang, is Miles Sanders done? But he's got the majority of first team reps. He keeps talking about opportunities on John Clark's podcast. I really want to see him, but because he's a veteran guy, I'm looking at just Quez Watkins. So as you said, you got all these stud names. How does he fit in? How many targets supposedly Goddard and AJ received in camp? Whose production lessens when Devontae comes back? Is it AJ's? Is it Goddard's? Because they've been the target monsters thus far for Jalen Hurts. Who loses production when Devontae comes back? Because I'm sure he's going to be a staple of this offense.
How do you think this whole Jalen Reagor situation works out? Do you think he makes the opening day roster there for week 1, or do you think he'll be traded before then?
I mean, if the Broncos want to do us a favor, I'm just kidding. Look, at the end of the day, they're human. I poo-poo some of his games and all that, criticize as nicely as I can. I am a fan, and in the heat of the moment, we say things and do things. But, I think that if he ever had a chance to get right, and I'm not saying get right by being like a main character in this offense, but contributing, it's this year. He's came in the right size this year. He had his head held up pretty good. He had some stuff in the offseason via social media, but I mean, just hearing him talk to the media first time in a long time, he looks to be in the best physical and mental shape he's been. So whether it is with the Eagles or another team, he knows it's a business. He knows he's floating around and on the bubble, kind of. He heard Nick Sirianni, he said he's only going to get 2 or 3 targets, so make the most of them. And so I think you're going to get the best of Jalen Reagor. I just can't pinpoint what the best is anymore. At one time, I thought he had a skill set that we could use. It's just been unfortunate. So I can't really hold my breath too much more, but I don't see him leaving the Eagles unless something falls in our laps via another team.
So something that I don't feel like enough people have talked about yet. If you do trade him, like, first off, just that he's not on the team is already an admission that you failed and you messed that up. I mean, Justin Jefferson's career is enough a testament to that. And then obviously Jalen Reagor's career to this point is a testament to that. But if you trade a first-round pick and you don't get back, which you're not going to get back a first-round pick. I don't even think you get back a second-round pick. I think you're still lucky to get a third-round pick. What an admission that is. So it would almost be like you would have to package in with another pick just to make sure that you don't have a complete decline on that investment.
Yeah, or let the receivers, let them be on the roster come week one. Let the receivers that Howie Roseman did acquire in Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, and A.J. Brown and Zach Pascal feast, and then find a scenario before the trade deadline where you can throw them away and you won't really get judged. You gave a first for a fifth because of the production of the guys you got in the last 2 years. So it's a little bit like, look at this, as I try to distract you from getting rid of a failed piece.
Right. As if it's a secret. As if it's a secret. Like, oh, no, he's doing great. What are you talking about? When it comes to overall expectations, I'll ask you about the Eagles first. Generally speaking, when you go into this season, preseason just about to get underway. When you go into this season, what are your overall expectations for this Eagles team? Division winner, deep run in the playoffs, Super Bowl. What are your expectations for the upcoming season?
It's definitely to win this division because of how Dallas went down a little bit. I still think it's a 1-2 race. Not really counting Washington out. They can make something happen, but I still think it's Eagles, Dallas. I think both teams get close, or I think both teams are over 10 wins, just looking at their schedule and our schedule. But I think we can get to that, 11, maybe 12 mark, win a division, and then we go from there. My only goal is to win a division as of now. And then once we get there, we talk about it.
Okay. All right. You don't want to jinx anything.
Yeah. To me, you win a playoff game, you're going the right track. But saying that winning a playoff game is enough now is because we're far away. You win that playoff game, all things go out the window now. Now you're going to keep going because you see you must have done something to get to that spot that you really didn't think you could do. So I know this team is still putting things together, and a lot of people don't fully believe in Jalen Hurts to lead this team, but I think a division win will go a long way for this group of guys.
All right. Speaking of Jalen Hurts right there, who is Jalen Hurts? The question is always, and it's going to be for the remainder of when the season starts, for another year, it'll be, can he be the franchise quarterback here in Philadelphia? So I think the best way to pose it is at least, will he start again next year for the Philadelphia Eagles? Do you think he'll play well enough at the end of this year to warrant a contract, ignore the incoming quarterback class, and be the quarterback again next year?
Because of the picks we have, it's really hard to say, but I'm going to say early on that I think he impresses us all. I don't think, I'm not here to say he's a finished product. And I talk and I stress this on my channel because he's working on his stuff. And I think he has improved even last year, September to December, and just all the reports that go on. If he is a guy who made 10 times in a game where he ran out of pocket early or, missed a read or this, that, and the third last year, just say 10 on average per game. I'm just throwing that number out there. Mm-hmm. This year, he's going to do it 5 times. So I think you're going to see some of the same last year Jalen Hurts, but at a lesser rate. You're going to see the improvements, but there's always going to be a little bit of rust there because you don't just grow a magical game overnight or over one season. But if he did it like 8-9 times last year, I think it's going to be 4 or 5 times this year. And just the little pieces that he adds to his game is going to be enough to say, wow, he's doing this at 24. He took a step. So now I'm willing to bet on his character that there's more steps to be taken. To me, I'm like at the end of the day, 17 to 21, I rated him in quarterbacks overall last year coming into this year, including his legs, because that got to be included as well.
Sure.
If he can get inside the top 15, 13, 14, well, now you go from 18 to 14. And so you think that the steps can continue. I'm willing to buy in. So I'm a believer, and it's gonna be a bumpy ride, but I'm a believer.
I had him right around there as well. Here's the toughest question. One of the toughest questions I think I can ask someone. By the time, let's say the Eagles, they win the division, they do what we're expecting, 11, 12 wins, right? Who is the star of the show? Who do you think will be the star of the show? Do you think it will be Jalen Hurts? Do you think it will be Jonathan Gannon? Or do you think it will be the Eagles rushing attack again? Who will be the star of that show?
It's tough.
If the Eagles are as successful as I think, will it be because the quarterback play is that great? Will it because they've gone to another running offense? Or is it because the defense is dominant?
I'm going to side with, for us, the defense to be dominant. I think that, barring Jonathan Gannon really not being qualified to do something, you know what I mean? This is a defense that he should be able to run exactly who he says he wants to be. All the versatility fronts, this, that, and the third. There should be really no excuses because you got the youthful guys who are going to shock us, and you got the guys who are just coming into their prime, and Kaiser White, Son Reddick, and these guys. So I think Jonathan Gannon will be the reason why, or definitely be the reason why we lose too. So you know what I mean? We'll see.
Let's do this. I'm going to couch this as saying it's the worst question I'll ever ask anyone ever. What's your prediction on Eagles-Jets preseason game number 1?
Yeah. Well, I did say this though.
What do you got?
It's not really a prediction on the whole game, but I said if Jalen Hurts gets 2 series, he's coming away with 7.
Ooh,
so
okay.
2 series, a touchdown from the starters. If he gets the full 2 series, I tweeted that earlier today. It's garnered some good stuff and some bad stuff. You know what I mean? That's how
Okay.
it is. You say Jalen Hurts, you get 50-50 interactions.
All right. I love it. No, I love it. All right. Now, because you got your Sixers hat on today in front of, excuse me one second.
For the people on the podcast, my man Mike's wearing a Sixers hat with his classic Eagles logo backdrop.
All right. So here's the question. You traded Maxey for Kevin Durant. Oh, wow. It hurts your heart to say this. I already know.
It does. And I probably say no right now.
No right now. Okay.
I literally just did a podcast about that, and I still 10, 15 minutes in, I couldn't come to my answer because I would have to, like right now, it's still not fully real in my head.
Okay.
And I really got to siphon all through the baggage that KD has. Is he one of the best ball players in the league? Yes. Could he make this a championship team? Yes. But it can also destroy this team. So it's like, if you're a gambler, it's a high risk, high reward. I believe Maxey in 2 to 3 years is going to be, a top 15 player, top 20 player, but can he get inside the top 10? That's what you got to ask. If you believe you can get inside the top 10, don't do it. If you don't believe it, then you got to roll the dice because KD could get you a championship with a 2-3 year window.
Yeah, it's hard, but I would have to pull the trigger on the deal. I love Tyrese Maxey. I think he's got all the work ethic in the world. I root for guys like him and Jalen Hurts. But I think Tyrese Maxey is a more talented basketball player than Jalen Hurts is a quarterback in football. I root hard for both of them because they both seem like great guys. They both have this, killer mentality about them that I really like. And they just work their asses off, the both of them. But with that, and I'm not a big Kevin Durant fan at all, but if Kevin Durant's available and you could get him here in Philadelphia, because it's not just about Maxey. It's like, when's the next time you're going to have a center like Joel Embiid or a guard like James Harden? And it's like, I think I'm just flip-flopping, not flip-flopping on my answer, but flip-flopping the windows. Either win now or still have the opportunity to win over the next 10 years. But you don't know what you're going to surround Tyrese Maxey with over that 10-year period. Go ahead.
Let me ask you, though, what if you would still have to probably tie Harris, Thibault, and picks to that too. So I also want to be able to, you got to get 5 guys out there and have at least two guys off the bench kind of, you know what I mean? So,
well, yeah, here's the thing with Thibault, I know I don't need that defense anymore when I have PJ Tucker. And you still spent most of the offseason building up that bench. The main thing that holds the Sixers back in any type of deal is the picks. And Tobias Harris would absolutely have to. And I'm actually a big Tobias Harris fan. I like Tobias Harris. I just think he struggled last year. But I don't have any problem parting ways with him in a deal because you got to, you got to get the money to match. That doesn't hurt me at all. It's like when I was making this point yesterday during the show. Ben Simmons leaving, don't let the door hit you in the ass. Markelle Fultz being traded, another number 1 overall pick. Yeah, we were done anyway. See you later, right? Tobias Harris doesn't hurt. Matisse Thybulle once loved, and then after the playoffs last year, vaccination or not, the way he came back was terrible. So it was like, the only guy that hurts right here is Tyrese Maxey because, and I made the point yesterday, he's just a damn sweetheart is what he is. Like all the things that's great about his basketball game and all stuff, but he's a sweetheart on top of it. And I think he just, you know what, Mike, he just gets us. He just gets us.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
Yeah. Philly Mike, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. It was long overdue, and that's on me because I'm a jerk. But it's great to talk to you. Preseason Eagles football nonetheless, and a little Sixers as well. Philly Mike, thank you so much. Make sure you guys follow him, of course, on his Twitter account at Philly_Mike25 for Philly Talk Podcast, and also subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. Philly Mike, thanks so much, brother. Great to talk to you.
Peace.
My thanks to Philly Mike joining the program, breaking down all things Eagles. I was on a show a minute ago, a couple months ago, actually, and it was great. He does a great job, and I had fun just talking birds, kicking it, and then, of course, talking some Sixers as well. Two main things that he likes to cover on his program. So make sure you guys go on over there and subscribe, and also make sure you follow that nice man on Twitter as well. We pretty much have the same bar for Jalen Hurts. We'll see where he's at. Not much we can tell from the preseason. A couple things we're going to be looking at. He said the same thing. Organization, Jordan Davis, a couple other guys he wants to really keep a close eye on tonight in this Eagles preseason opener. Let me tell you right now about the great people at Manscaped. Fellas, you want to look good everywhere, right? Well, that's where Manscaped can help you out, because Manscaped is the leader in below-the-waist grooming. So you should trust Manscaped and their Platinum Package 4.0. It includes a Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, and it all comes with skin-safe technology that helps reduce the risk of nicks so you can manscape with confidence and comfort. Plus, the Ultra Premium Body Wash, 2-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, as well as Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant, Crop Reviver Ball Spray Toner, and Anti-Chafing Boxers that help, and also the Shed Travel Bag. How could you forget the Shed Travel Bag? Now, it'll carry all the goods that you'll be using to take care of your goods, whether at home or on the road. Manscaped, the leader in below-the-waist grooming. Now you can trust them with the whole shebang and join 4 million men worldwide who you can trust, who do trust Manscaped, by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy for 20% off and free shipping. How about Blue Chew? Blue Chew, ladies and gentlemen, in case you haven't heard, fellas, if you're having a little problem in that bedroom, Blue Chew, bluechew.com. You want your first month free? Use promo code Farzy for your first month free. Just pay $5 shipping. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form at a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew's tablets help men combat all forms of ED. And again, Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so there's no embarrassing trips to the doctor, or pharmacy trips, as Blue Chew ships right to your home in a discreet package. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days, and it's all done online. Also, Blue Chew's licensed medical providers will work with you to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription. Don't like swallowing pills? No problem here. Blue Chew's tablets are chewable. Blue Chew's tablets are right here, made in the U.S. of A. That's right, they're made right here in the good old U.S. of A. And they prepare and ship directly to your house, so it's cheaper than a pharmacy. Once again, if you want to try Blue Chew free, there's a special deal for our listeners and our viewers. Try Blue Chew free when you use promo code Farzy at checkout and pay just $5 shipping. That's promo code Farzy at bluechew.com. How about Freestone Farm CBD? FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Absolutely nothing synthetic from farm to jar when you use Freestone Farm CBD. They grow all their premium hemp flower in the Garden State, and after harvest, they carefully preserve all their plant compounds with a perfect 3-month cure. And if you want to try Freestone Farm CBD and get 20% off, use promo code Farzy at FreestoneFarmCBD.com for 20% off your order. Their menu is something you'll have to check out, with strains like their insane tropical tasting Bayox that clocks in at a chart-topping 24.1%, and Super CBD, which I don't know if you heard is half Hindu, Kush, and 21%. That was a more aggressive Kush because the preseason starts today. More aggressive. The genetics of these guys are off the charts. And if you're someone who wants to take a more natural approach to everything that they're putting in their body, you got to help yourself out with Freestone Farms, FreestoneFarmCBD.com. 20% off with promo code Farzy at checkout at FreestoneFarmCBD.com. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. Let's jump into the chat check. Kevin, good morning. Sean, April. What's going on, everybody? Nice to see you. April, I loved watching the Field of Dreams games. Seeing players come out of the corn was awesome, and the catch between the Griffies. Okay. April, I'm glad you brought this up. I was going to save it for the morning rush. Forget that. Here we go. I have one big problem with the Field of Dreams game in general. When I first heard of this concept, I thought to myself, how cool will that be to play on that little tiny field? Kevin Costner had that catch on. And a great movie, one of my favorite movies of all time. The number one, I believe still, the number one movie men cry at, Field of Dreams. And I love that movie just as much now as I did as a little kid, watching that VHS tape we had in our cabinet under the TV. I think I had that on there and Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom. I think it was a Temple of Doom was the double feature on that night. But yeah, I love Field of Dreams. And when I first heard the concept of them playing on the field, I thought this is great. And then I watch it, I'm like, that's not the field. That's another field next to the field. Like they're basically playing a game in Iowa right now, near the Field of Dreams. What is this about? Well, that's stupid. That's how I felt about it. I think it's a cool feature. I think it's something cool that the baseball does. Was last year Kevin Costner did the voiceover, did like the welcome to everybody. That was cool. Last night they had the catch between the Griffies. That was great. The game was fine. The hologram. Are we still calling it a hologram? I see everybody calling it a hologram of Harry Carey singing "Take Me Out of the Ball Game." Little much. We can't get a scoreboard somewhere and put him up there on a video. That might be a little bit. The Harry Carey superimposed video. That's what I'll say instead of hologram. I feel like hologram is something from the 80s. A girl my mom used to babysit in the 80s used to watch, I think it was called Gem and the Holograms. What the hell was that show? I wanted to watch Thundercats. We had to watch Gem and the Holograms because, well, Lily wants to watch Gem and the Holograms. I'm like, well, why? This show's stupid. There's no Thundercats. I need Thundercats. But we're apparently still calling it a hologram. And I'm all for seeing Harry Carey. I love Harry Carey, the actual Harry Carey. Of course, you guys know me. I love Will Ferrell's impression of Harry Carey. I got to ask Harry Carey's grandson, what's his name? Steve Carey? What's his name? I forget his name. But I got to ask him about the impression. He said he loved it. But I don't know how the family would have felt about Harry Carey's hologram being in the box. It was in the announcer's booth. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me. And I just kind of was like, And then I look on Twitter and I see that I'm not alone. It was very much a odd thing to have. If you haven't seen it, it's on Twitter. I watched it again this morning just to make sure it wasn't just me. And yeah, it was odd. And I don't think there'd ever be a situation. Well, I don't know. Who knows? Yes, I would have rather had Will Ferrell go out there and do his Harry Carey impression. Although, if you notice, if you go back and watch, who else is as big a nerd as I am that's going to go back and watch? But if you watch Harry Carey, Will Ferrell's Harry Carey in the olden days, back on Saturday Night Live, it's much different than whenever Will Ferrell does it now. It's different. It's not as, it goes from Harry Carey here to Harry Carey here. It's like, is that Tom Brokaw? What is that? I think he went to Tom Brokaw. But anyway, I thought that was weird. But all in all, April, I agree. Field of Dreams, the game itself is cool. Seeing the throwback unis, seeing them play on a very modest field as opposed to a stadium. I just always thought it should be a more modest field, like the actual field. That's just, but that's just me. That's just me is all. I saw one of the nice ladies from MLB Network post a video of the actor that plays Kevin Costner's father, the young version of Kevin Costner's father. And the two lines that get me every single time I watch Field of Dreams is the obvious one, which is this heaven? Like it's just the way it's such a great line. And then the you want to have a catch. It gets me every time. Yeah, it's an emotional line. But April, I did. I loved. I checked in. I didn't sit there for the whole game, but I did check in on it. But there you go. Boop. Oh, Kyle Schwarber looked kind of bummed out in the interview. I think he was hoping he could just play through it. April, that's what he was trying to do. Schwarber was definitely trying to play through the injury. He couldn't do it. Good news, he did not hear a pop. Bad news, I still think this is going to linger for a while. Apparently, this didn't bother him for a minute or two. John Cheeseborough, good morning. Mullets, what do you got, Mullet? What's going on here? Was very cool, April. Funny how they kept dropping the ball. Hope the Phillies are next out there in Iowa. Here's the deal. I had said in the previous game 2 of this series, that it's still like the Phillies were losing, but it still felt like they were going to win. You felt like the Phillies were going to win that ball game in game 2. I just felt like they were going to win. Good teams find a way to win. Yesterday, after the second inning, I was like, this team's not going to win. And it was like, Rhys Hoskins has that weird play at first base where he can't flip it to, or just try to field it, and it just popped out of his mitt. I don't even think he was attempting to flip it to Kyle Loesch. Or God, Kyle Loesch. Why do I do that? I did that on Fox 29 the other. Kyle Gibson. They couldn't convert the play. Gibson goes down. Hoskins goes down. And I'm like, that looked stupid. That looked like the karma is not with us today. And then Gene Segura lost that ball in the sun. And then every other ball that was hitting high in the air was like, is this going to be another mistake for whoever's under it? But with Gene Segura dropping that one in the second inning, I went, not our day. A run scored later in that game, not our day. I felt like that was not going to be our day. They load the bases in the ninth inning, and I'm like, all right, you know what? Maybe. But no, was not our day yesterday. It was not the Phillies' day, at least. One small strike zone for Robo Umps. One giant leap for Angel Hernandez. Yeah, how do we get a man? How do we get on the man on the moon? How did we get a man on the moon in the 60s, but in 2022 we can't get stickball right? Mullet, fair enough. I do. The more I think about robot umpires, it's like, how are we not striving for this for longer? Like, have you ever even just filled in once in a Little League game and tried to call balls and strikes? Can you now imagine 95 to 100 mile per hour fastballs, trying to just locate those, following curveballs, following where that player's strike zone is? Because it's different for everybody. Tall guys, short guys, all that stuff. That's like a cruel thing. And now ask somebody who's 60 to do that. No thanks. Boop. John Cheesebro, these Apple TV games are annoying. I concur. What did Adam say to Eve? Don't you ever dare watch Apple TV. Mullet, great callback to yesterday's show. Bleep the Mets, says John Cheeseborough. I concur. April, I agree. I'm over the Apple TV games, especially since I already pay for MLB TV. April, I couldn't imagine. John Cheeseborough, they'll use the joint practices for the starters, and the games will be filling out the roster. John, I agree with that. That's what I learned from last year. If I learned anything from last year's preseason play with Nick Sirianni, it's that these joint practices are preseason games in Nick Sirianni's eyes. You talked about, what did they have? They had a joint practice against the Jets last year. And I remember Nick Sirianni coming out and being like, oh, these are some great practices. These are great practice. Guys, these are great practices. When you have practice and you're practicing and it's great, you have great practice. And these guys, they love ball. Like, that is, I was like, what? This I'm sorry, not going to do the Allen Iverson thing, but we are, in fact, indeed discussing getting ready for games. Not games. We are discussing getting ready for those games and winning the day. And people are talking about Camp Candy Ass that Nick Sirianni's running here. And I'm like, well, they did the same thing last year. What else do we have here? Doing games on Peacock is one thing, but now it's like every Friday Phillies game is on Apple TV Plus. Hey, I don't know if I guys told you this. I don't know if I told you this. And I don't like bragging. I'm not a braggart, right? I'm not a me guy. I'm not a materialistic guy, but I did mount a TV outside on my patio. And I have found that the My Teams app, the NBC Sports app, Peacock, are phenomenal. Also, the Fox Sports one or Fox Sports app is pretty awesome as well. But I'm just saying, it's nice to sit back, relax, put that TV on, and just outside, smoke a cigar, watch Phillies game. It's pretty nice. The Peacock app is nice. I do enjoy that. Plus, you can go on Peacock. I don't know if you guys know this or not. And again, you can watch like all the Saturday Night Live ever. And you can watch Johnny Carson episodes. Johnny Carson went off the air when I was 10. And I could watch his old episodes and like watch his monologues. Anyway. Doing games on Peacock, one thing. Yes, I agree, John. I just read that. I'm sorry. Yo, Philly Mike, good dude. Glad RB got on here too. Both great guys. I've been on both their shows. Good dudes. Let's see. Oh, John, what do you have here? Speaking of broadcasts, I remember when the NFL Network used to have the home broadcast for the first half of preseason replays, then the road broadcast for the second half, and when your home market got your broadcast. I don't remember that. I remember the NFL Network had the exclusive rights to the Thursday Night Football game, and I remember the Eagles playing a game in Seattle, and everybody was bitching about not having the NFL Network, and then the Eagles got trashed. They couldn't tackle Marshawn Lynch. It was like the earthquake game or the earthquake run before the earthquake run. And I remember everyone the next day was like, well, thank God I didn't see that game. They suck. That whole thing. Jay Brown, how many snaps do you think the first team defense will get? I would say around the same as your first team offense. I think they get a series or two. The guy I haven't even mentioned it is Nakobe Dean. I want to see Nakobe Dean tonight. TJ Edwards is apparently just taking major steps forward at the Mike position. I've told you guys before, I think you're going to see a very versatile defense in terms of base D. I think you're going to see, 4-3 as the general base, but then I think you're going to see a lot of 3-4. I think you're going to see two middle linebackers in some situations. And I think Nakobe Dean could be one of those guys. I think he will be one of those guys in that situation, but I want to see him play for the first time since Georgia won a national championship. Series or two, says John. There you go. Unfair side to talk about time and length of practices because of how practice times have changed due to the CBA. Yeah, we had Brian Westbrook on the show. Brian Westbrook was like, guys looked at my practices like they weren't hard enough. Guys from the old days were looking at me going, we remember when they didn't even give us water. That was a thing. For some young people, I remember playing football in my 1 year of organized football. I remember playing, and it was like, oh, you need water, you pansy? And it was just like, what? And then I remember Corey Stringer died from the Vikings. And everyone was like, every coach was like, did you guys have water yet? Is everyone hydrated? That changed everything. And now I'm one of those people, I don't have it here, but now I'm one of those people that constantly look like I'm about to cross a desert with the water supply I carry on me. I just noticed this. I just went back and forth. I just went water and water. I don't know what makes me do that. I think I've explained before, if I say like bottle of water, it's bottle of water. If you ask me isolated, what like flows through a river, I'll be like water. And I think I just got caught doing it again. I am a mutant. I'd be here. Ooh, yes, John. Reed Stinnett has been out playing Minshew. He got first team reps the other day. Or sorry, excuse me, second team reps the other day. Eagle Man. What's up, Eagle Man? Good guy to the right. All right. Eagle Man. Hurts just needs to have a 3 and out tonight. Don't want him hurt. God forbid Hurts has 3 and out tonight. They'll be talking about bringing in Minshew. Eagle Man. Look, one of my things going into tonight's game, like right before the game, I might just put out on social media, like, who's ready to overreact? That's what it feels like tonight. He throws a bomb on the first play, and it hits like Quez Watkins in the numbers, perfect in stride for a touchdown. We'll all lose our minds. Jalen Hurts MVP. He has a couple of bad throws. Jalen Hurts sucks. It's who's ready to overreact is the way to sum it up. Sean Gillespie. Rager is the guy that plays Madden on the easiest settings and brags about winning the Super Bowl every year like I used to without the bragging. Nice job, Sean. I'm getting Madden. John Cheeseburger, I'm getting Madden next week and plan on doing no actual work since I'm working from home all next week. John, good for you. Video games are dangerous for me. I was just talking about this with my neighbor the other day, and it was like, if you play a video game, and like in my mind, it's like, wait, I can commit to doing nothing for like an hour. That's amazing. That sounds fantastic. While I'm doing it, all right, one more pitch, one more throw, one more shot. Mullet, seriously, name a more lovable Philly athlete right now than Maxey and more dedicated. There is none. April, I think it's because I don't want the original field to get jacked up. Also, more seats equals more money. April, you're a business lady. Sean. Whoa. Backdraft? Sean Gillespie, Backdraft should be the #1 movie men cry at. I'm not going to go on with the spoilers. What was Backdraft, like 1995? That's a pretty good one. Robert De Niro kind of freaked me out. In that movie. When he pours the lighter fluid along the wall and he lights it and he just goes, fire needs to eat. I'm like, all right, Pyro De Niro. Jeez, buddy. 19, no way. You stop it, Sean Gillespie. 1990 was Backdraft? I was 8 watching that movie. Well, probably 9, because back in the day, it went like a year for it to come out on VHS. All right, anyway. That was a great one. Oh, yeah, the hologram was definitely weird. April, fist bump. Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate you. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Jim Grassmeter, I missed you. Good morning. Good morning to you. Did I get everybody? I think I got everybody. At least one comment from everybody. Eagle Man, welcome to the program. Jay Brown, I got you. Appreciate you. Boop, boop, beep, boop, boop, bop. There we go. Thank you very much. Let's move into our Morning Rush, brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Morning Rush tonight. Very simple. 2 things on the docket. We talked about the Field of Dreams game. Boop, boop. What else did we talk about? Oh, I wanted to get in. We'll get some Phillies conversation. Eagles tonight. I told you. Accuracy from our man, Jalen Hurts. That's what I want to see. Starters get out there for a series or 2, probably just a series. That's what I want to see tonight. And then tonight, Phillies, please. Max Scherzer against Ranger Suarez. I know that's not everybody's favorite pitching matchup, but it's a 7:10 start time tonight on Apple TV+. Scherzer's only coming off a performance of 7 innings, no runs, 4 hits, 11 strikeouts. Yep. So here's hoping that Kyle Schwarber's okay and the Phillies bats are able to beat up Scherzer, at least get on base against Max Scherzer. No 0 for 10. I just take 10. Can I just get 10 men on base and then hopefully drive in like 3 of them? Can I get that? Big test for Suarez and the rest of the Phillies tonight. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by Steven Singer. Steven Singer Jewelers. Jim Hyde produced the program. Did a wonderful job. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. A wonderful weekend. Talk to you guys on Monday. See ya.